surprised me. But they never would actually tell me whether or not I was a bird or not, and I never really knew whether I was supposed to squawk or flap my arms or what the hell until the first day on the set when I went blah 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 blah, and Jim Conway, the director of the pilot, said, "Cover your ears if you're a child. Quit fucking around, John." Which is how I knew I was not a bird.
It's hilarious. I was there for that. I was up. We went in together for the network audition, wasn't it, at Paramount? And I got there first. And you know, these network auditions, you generally wait for the other half dozen guys that look kind of like you, bit better looking, bit more famous. And I'm sitting there. I've signed a contract with all the zeros, and I'm sitting quietly. And I'm like, no one's coming. I'm like, bloody hell, is it just me? And just as I thought it, I could hear this shuffle up the stairs, and he appears. And I'm like, oh, fuck it, now they don't know what they want. I don't even remember, I even leant over and went, what part are you here for? He was like, what? I said, who are you auditioning? Because I couldn't see his sides. He said, who are you auditioning for? I said, I'm here for the Dr. Flox. He went in first, so Rick and Brandon, yeah, the double doors open, and said, John, would you come in? And I could hear him through the double doors, and he was like, you do it better than I do! And I was like, oh my god, this guy's got some balls. I mean, if they don't like the way your eyebrows meet in the middle of these network auditions, you're not getting the job, and he's squawking. So he finally comes out and he sits down, and I'm like, so how'd it go then? So how'd it go? He goes, oh, it's all good. And then I go in, I have an out-of-body experience. I've got a bottle of Evian water. There's going to be some fucking phase cannon coil thing that they haven't sent me or they fucked up. And I got in my hand, and as I was I'm up on the ceiling looking down at myself. I'm like, get back in here now, kid. Anyway, yeah, so then I was there for that first day of shooting, and sure as shit, Jim Conway was a Take No Prisoners director, and it was hilarious. And he did the squawk, and Jim literally came out from video footage and went, are you shitting me?
Hey, Connor.
I asked them over and over again, am I a bird? Do I squawk? Nobody would answer me. And Brandon and Rick had a very peculiar way of just kind of going, oh, we'll see. It was like...
They were like that, weren't they? When we walked up Paramount's thoroughfare, and what was the casting director's name? Ron Serra, big smoker. Yeah, finally, Rick and Brandon were sort of in the sunlight. It was like 4 in the afternoon. It was a beautiful afternoon. And they kept looking back and sort of nodding and smiling, smirking. And I finally just went to Ron. I said, Ron, did we get it or what? He goes, he'd already lit up. I didn't hear it from me, but and that was it. He and I went, I still drive past that coffee shop every now and again.
He also said, whatever you do, don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And Dominic was on his phone in about 30 seconds. Hey mom, hey sis, hey, guess what?
I was calling everybody. My manager, my girlfriend, my manager's girlfriend, you name it. There was another, would you accept the other line? I went, it's Ron Sermon. Oh, hello, Ron.
But I think Connor had the most tricky experience.
Oh, I had the most arduous journey. Yeah, I had 6 auditions for it.
Oh my God.
6.
Yeah, and the first one, I went in. It was pilot season, and I had 3 auditions. And for one reason or another, I had to learn 25 pages for the 3 of them, and had to make a pecking order. And for some stupid reason, I made Enterprise the last. I think it was the least amount of lines. I'll be all right. So I go in for my audition to Ron, and I do it, and I know when I suck. And oh boy, was I not good. He says to me afterward, Connor, can you go back out to your car, come back here in an hour and do it again? And I went, oh God. So I go back out to my 1968 Skylark, and the windows only roll half down, and it's a 98-degree day in Los Angeles, and I'm just sweating. And so I do it, and I come back in, and it's exactly an hour better, which is not much. So I walk out, and I call my agent, get my big phone out, and I said, listen, I can't do 3 auditions, and I just punted this one. And he said, okay, whatever. You know, a couple days later, they said they wanted to see me again, and I said, why? So I go back in, and this time I've had time to prepare, and I do that one. I do another one, and they send me over to studio, and now I really, really, really want it. And at studio, there's these, it's me and like 5 other really handsome dudes, and I thought, oh, we're up against this, huh? So I said to myself, well, listen, I bet none of them can act. So I put my chair right next to the door, because I was last, and listened to each one, and as each one did their audition, I sort of checked him off as like, yeah, you suck. And I thought,
It's incredible, isn't it? Sometimes you just go, how do you even have an agent and a SAG card?
yeah, well, some of them, you just like look at them and you're like, yeah, I'd represent you too. But anyway, so I went in and I had this confidence built up that, hey, if they want an actor, then I'm okay. I was okay. I go in for the network test. The network test, it's me and some other guy, and at that point it's like, do they want strawberry or pistachio? You're both good ice creams, it's just what they want. And I do the audition.
Well, are you strawberry or pistachio? Just out of curiosity.
Well, my flavor's a secret.
He's nutty banana.
Even after 20 years, his flavor is still a secret.
And so I do it and I leave, and I expect to hear something soon, and my manager calls me and says, yeah, it went okay. In the last scene, they thought you didn't show enough awe. Because it was the scene where we were supposed to bump against the ship, and I'm, oh. Anyway, so I said, can I go back in? All over the room. And they're like, no, they don't want to see you. And so I kept looking at the breakdowns, and they hadn't set the breakdown again. So I didn't know what they were doing. They have 7 days, legally. Then they have to let you know.
Yeah.
Well, they waited 7 days and didn't let me know. And so it was coming up on a weekend, so I took my girlfriend to Mexico, and we met our best friend, Tequila. And when I got back, I called my manager and I said, come on, man, you gotta tell me something. So we called Junie Lowry Johnson, the main casting person. She said, I can't tell you what's happening, but you're gonna sleep well tonight.
Oh.
I didn't sleep at all. Woke up the next morning to the phone call and called my brother, who was a profound Star Trek fan at the time. And he would walk around the perimeter of the playground, and we were growing up with his buddies talking about the previous original series episode. And I called him up, and he had 2 little girls at the time, and I said, man, I got Enterprise. And he was like, oh, that's, Ruby, stop touching him. Put that down. No, the spoon is for your cereal. I gotta go. And I was like, big fan. I'm gonna think twice about parenthood.
All right, Anthony, your story.
To John's point earlier, during the pandemic, I also wrote my autobiography. I've been in Hollywood 25 years, so I'm going to tell you about this story that is in my dedication to Enterprise chapter. I dedicated 1 chapter to Star Trek. I dedicate 1 chapter to General Hospital, if there are any General Hospital fans in the audience. So forgive me if you get the book and you read this story.
Do I get a chapter?
Yes, of course you're in there.
Excellent.
These are my brothers. What you guys already know that you may not know as far as the personal connection that we get, we had no idea who anybody was until we started working together. But then once we become a family and we work together for so many years, we literally are our own family. The TNG family, they're their own family. The DS9 family. So these are my brothers, so you guys are definitely gonna read about them in there.
Hey, wait a minute. I hadn't seen Leprechaun in the Hood, and I was waiting with bated breath to meet you.
And you really saw that?
No.
I didn't think so. I hate you. Oh man, I can't stand you. Okay, so
Leprechaun in the Hood get a chapter?
Has anybody here seen Leprechaun in the Hood? Wow.
are you
Okay.
serious?
No, I'm sure they're not serious.
I appreciate
chapter
that.
now.
I appreciate you guys.
People like to to applaud and pretend they've seen shit they haven't seen. Come on, Anthony, that's the way it works.
And yes, they do, because sometimes people come up to me and go, "Oh my God, I loved you on Enterprise. Now you're this guy, right?"
Oh.
Everybody who knows Star Trek knows it.
I get confused with Anthony Montgomery all the time. I can't, if I had a nickel for the number of times.
So no, I auditioned for Ron Surma during Voyager, and I didn't get the role, but that started a relationship with the casting office. And as any of you who are not actors know, the way you get relationships and get to keep coming back to audition is by going in, giving a good read each time, and then eventually things align and you go in. So that was the first time I went in. I didn't get that when Ron brought me back for another episode as a transmission of Tuvok's son. I don't know what it was, but you guys probably saw it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so I auditioned for that. He said, "Anthony, they loved you, but you don't look alien enough." I don't know what that means, so I didn't get that as well. But that's okay, because third time's a charm. When I went in for Enterprise, I got the call back. I left, I was doing a kids adventure show called Awesome Adventures. And I went up to the Bay Area to shoot the show. And while I was there, they worked out the contract and all the negotiations and everything. When I come back, I go to test for the series, and I meet Rick and Brandon, and it was just the three of us walking. Much like you, I thought, am I the only one coming for this? And I was, but I didn't know it until Rick says, very straight-faced, "You see, you're the only one, right?" I said, yeah. Is anybody else? "Don't fuck this up." Never cracked a smile. I looked over at Brandon like, is he serious? And Brandon was like, and I said, "Okay, I'll go in and do what I do, Rick. If it worked for you guys, then hopefully it works for them. That's all I can do." And I did. I left there to go to my agent. I was at Metropolitan at the time. It was about 6 minutes from the Paramount lot, and I was reading a low-budget feature script because that was my next audition. And as I'm sitting in front of her, she gets the call, my agent Karen Foreman at the time, and she said, "Hold on." She's listening, and she said, "I'm sorry, can you repeat that? You're calling to do a pickup of Anthony Montgomery, who has just booked the role of Travis Mayweather." And I threw that other script in the air and screamed like a little girl.
Yeah, clearly they all had a walk in the park. Pretty much.
There was one dodgy moment when I went in. They said they love what I did, but could I make him more blue collar? Hang on, did I get that right? Less blue collar.
And look at you now, Dom.
I went in with a thick Yorkshire accent for the third audition. Malcolm Reed was like thick Northern Yorkshireman. I was playing I'd seen Ian McKellen play Iago as a thick Yorkshire sort of councilman that would always be of service to the king, but would never dream of being, first and captain of the ship. And it was and all these Hollywood producers, and it was Mary Howard looked at me first and went, "Was that Welsh?"
You make fun of me for squawking.
Yeah, I don't know what actors want to act, mate. You know what it's like. Can you imagine a scene where Reed goes into sick bay? "Oh, doctor, oh, feeling terrible." It could have happened.
Could have happened.
Could have happened.
Our lives have been very different.
Hey, I know you got a bunch of questions, but we got a bunch of people that have questions, and I love hearing the questions they have.
They
Can
should
we
get
do
lined
that?
up on both sides of the stage.
Yeah, they're already lined up.
Yeah, they're already lined up.
Because we always run out of time with these. You guys give great questions, and we never get to the end of them. So let's get that rocking.
Yeah, let's get it rocking. Right over here, on your right, we have someone from Enterprise.
My name is Caleb.
Quit stalking me.
Hi again. if Enterprise wasn't canceled, where would you have wanted them to take your characters?
Undead. Let's start with that. You all know I died, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Never know how to
so
answer.
There's always somebody in the audience who's like, what? No!
I would have wanted to have some sex.
Yeah.
Anytime I ever got a little whiff of sex, it didn't work out. Either my wife had thrown herself at Connor or something goes wrong. Everybody else, by the time the 4th season had ended, I believe, had had a little bit of sex.
Your missus came on one time.
Huh?
Your missus.
And she made a pass at Connor.
Yeah, true that.
She spent the whole episode
Oh my
lusting
God,
after
a lot,
Connor.
didn't he? He got more than his fair share.
Jeez Louise.
I got the big mole she went as. Was she an Andorian? Yeah, she was. Big chick. Bumped into her in Fryman Canyon not long ago. She recognized me, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, let me reel Dom back in. This is gonna go somewhere we probably don't want it to. I would have liked to have learned more about my character because you guys saw Enterprise. Travis, our series became like the original series about the captain, the engine, and the engineer, our commander, and the Vulcan. So I was excited when we did Horizon and we got to learn about Travis. I wanted to see more about his family. That's all. It would have been a lot of fun. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Let's grab one from over here.
My question is similar to that one, but my question is, what would you, if we got another season, what would you like to see happen to your Terran universe characters?
I don't even know what that is.
I would like to have seen him have more sex.
You're right, it is similar.
His sex would have been perhaps a little more evil sex, but I still would basically want the same thing.
Oh, I had heard, I don't know if this is true, but I was told that we were going to go back to the mirror universe because there was going to be Empress Sato, and even though my character was the silent, strong type, I was curious to see where he was going to go because it was fun playing a bad guy. That was a
This was not Connor's favorite aspect of our show.
I wish that would never, ever have made a reappearance. Because I don't like playing a pirate.
Captain Crunch.
I'll tell you the story briefly. So I go in, I don't really know what to do with this sort of, odd character that they've had me do with the scar, and I come in and I'm doing a scene with Jolene. She's got the half shirt on the hair and the this and the that. So I go in and I do the scene, and Jim Conway was directing, and he was like, Connor, just give me more of. And I was like, what, you mean like a pirate? And he goes, yeah, try that. So I go into the scene and I'm like, arr, 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 arr.
It was stupid.
Cut, print. No, wait a minute. That was not for real. That was just test run. I was kind of kidding. And he's like, no, it's perfect, we're moving on. And I was like,
And that's why I didn't watch the show anymore, stuff like that.
I like those because I got to be jolly. I was a jolly vivisector. For those of you who don't know what vivisection is, talk to me afterwards.
So that was the antithesis of Fox, was it?
Yeah, I thought so, but both characters were buoyant. That was my through line. No matter what fucking universe I'm in, I'm happy. No matter what I'm doing, forgive my language.
I wanna
Goddess and Dominic.
I do want to ask, the question said, where would you like to see your characters go? But
Never know how to answer that, really.
But the question is, when before the series was canceled for the 4th season, there must have been plans for a 5th season. Like you were gonna.
No, there weren't.
You gotta have that ready.
No, there weren't. No.
We don't know. If there were, we don't know about them.
I mean, they plan literally 3-4 episodes ahead, maybe. They're writing, prepping.
I had heard though that they did have some plans, and that did include going back.
Yes.
Although
yes.
I don't think there was anybody in the upper echelon suites that entertained any realistic notion that we were going to come back.
Right.
So
But
I'm
Manny-
not sure how fleshed out those plans were.
And when Manny Cotto came in and what he did with season 4, you guys.
And season 3.
And
Yeah.
season 3.
Well, season 3
I
started.
remember reading his first script. And,
Well, yeah, but the Cindy arc, because that was our take on 9/11. That was the social commentary for that. That was not the same as taking it to those 2-3 episode that you guys saw in the 4th season that so many of you have come up and told us that you've loved. They said Manny was going to take us back to the mirror universe and that they had a lot of fun things in store. But let's not end on a bad note because we went longer than the original series and we're a part of your family and your lives forever. So.
98 episodes.
Let's go to another question on this
8
side.
episodes this side.
This one's for all of you. Whenever you had a show that focused really specifically on your character, was that like, oh, this is great, or was it more like, oh, this is just more work?
Oh, that's great.
That was great.
Oh, it's what you
No,
want.
That's what you want as the actor, absolutely. Did you see Travis? Okay, so I can only do this so much.
That said, as you get older, at the age of 61, my idea for the spin-off is Old Fat Phlox. Old Fat Phlox just sits in a rocking chair and tells stories about what happened in the past, and then young actors act them out. And I still get a healthy paycheck, but I only work half a day.
He's now a big fat frog on a lily pond.
Old Fat Phlox, he's a-sitting on a box in the junction, Denobulin
You know
Junction.
that T-shirt that says,
How many people know that reference? Yeah, baby. Yeah.
I know that reference.
Billy Joe, Bobby Joe, and Betty Joe, except they're Andorians.
All right.
I date myself.
What's the reference?
Hello, thank you for coming in this environment. Thank you for coming
Thank you.
and participating in this convention. I hope this doesn't sound too corny. I'm not trying to bring you all down. I'm actually trying to uplift you. But as they were introducing you all, I teared up a little bit because my late husband, you guys, Enterprise was his favorite Star Trek. And he was going through some stuff and you guys pulled him through. So thank you for that. I just had a comment.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Back over here. Next question.
Hi, I'm late to the Enterprise party. I binge watched your show during the pandemic, so thank you.
Bless you.
You helped me get through the pandemic. And my question is, well, first, I'm so sorry for what they did to you in the series finale. And my question is, how
Connor.
would you have rewritten the finale? Like, what would your alternative version of the series?
Phlox would have had sex. I'll tell you that.
Scene after scene.
One scene, one scene.
Shagging.
I'm still old, just one scene.
Oh yeah.
Brief scene.
Any cuddling after?
Maybe some
a couple
cuddling.
scene.
Yeah.
The not dying part would have been a good start.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Trip would have just carried on doing whatever Trip does. But I will say this. I was really satisfied with it. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm really the only character on the show who got to complete the arc. You didn't have to wonder what happened to him. And so that was satisfying, you know, as the actor. It would have been nice to know what wound up happening to him had he not saved the ship. But you know, again, I've got no problem with it.
I do think we were all somewhat disappointed that the show didn't have a multi-episode conclusion. I mean, it's awfully hard to try and conclude a series in a single 50-minute segment, regardless of whether you like the framing device of Riker and Troy. I think the bigger question was it just needed a bigger canvas. So I personally would have said, give it a 3-episode out. Whatever they do.
Or even at the very least,
Yeah,
like,
we only had
like
6
give us
episodes
two,
by the time
give us
we
2
had
hours,
it.
like it did for the pilot. Give us a 2-hour pilot, a 2-hour finale. That we could have tied up a lot of things.
Let's
a lot
not
of
all
loose
forget though, we had just been cancelled.
That's all right.
And you know, and they weren't going to spend a lot of money.
And not kill me off.
I probably, honestly, I love Jonathan and Marina. They are wonderful people, but Scott Bakula is my captain. I know you guys are hardcore. You guys are hardcore, everybody else. Scott Bakula is my captain. Archer, I would have not had them come on because I didn't even know that we were a part of the holodeck until I read those episodes, and it just made me go, wait, so those other 96 episodes, that shit never really happened?
Yeah, I gotta say, the one thing that bugged me was it wasn't so much that, whether Connor died, that was fine, but the fact that he died foiling a second-rate jewel robbery seemed fairly pedestrian.
Yeah,
It's like, save the universe, at least. I mean, that's what I would have chosen to do.
I like that.
Mr.
I like that.
Bezos.
All right, so one more question right over here.
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you all so much for coming and not canceling on us. And
We didn't cancel.
Yeah.
I am a clone.
Remember that?
I am a clone.
Okay, so my question is specifically for John and Connor. Out of your characters versus Star Trek versus Stargate, which ones do y'all like better?
Oh, what do you think of this?
Well, I only did one episode of Stargate, and Connor had quite a bit to do, so I defer to him. I like doing Stargate a lot because they actually let you improvise, at least they did for me. On Star Trek, they're extremely precious about the words. You don't vary one jot or tittle from the script. Stargate had a kind of give it a whack, let's see how that goes kind of attitude, and I got to perform with a really wonderful and quite well-known Canadian comedian who I loved working with. So for me, that was kind of a joy, that particular episode. Although they brought him back and they didn't bring me back, so.
I would say, as much as I liked playing Michael, Trip, because they gave me so much to do and they fleshed out my character so well that, and he's very close to me. And, but look, I mean, it's fun playing a bad guy. It's always fun playing a bad guy. I just wish that they would have fleshed out Michael's story more, and I had heard that that was the intent for season 5, but since they didn't get one, they killed me. So there's a theme.
You ever survive a series, Connor?
There's a theme.
Serious.
He's good, but let's kill him.
All right, real quick, one more question, it's all yours.
What time is this over? 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
Oh, got it. Okay, so you'll be the last one.